Hello friends, my name is FirstDane and welcome back to Endzone, A World Apart. I'm sorry to say that our previous save is no longer. I was, for a few days there I was unhappy-ish. I'd rather have progress with the game going forward, but we were almost to the point where we had figured things out and we were expanding in really interesting ways. And I wanted to get to an endpoint with that colony, or at least what I felt was an endpoint. And I mean, I could have got there if we just put in the time, but the time didn't exist, so it is what it is. I left the screen up. I just started the game. Hopefully the music isn't too obnoxiously loud. It's kind of loud for me, but it's a banger, so I don't really mind. It's the good synth beats. I wanted to leave this up because this is what broke our save file ultimately. There was a new release here in April, in early access, and you can kind of see what was added to the game, at least in brief. I skimmed the patch notes. They were really long. It is what it is. There's lots of cool things in the game now. So what we can do is those little expedition sites that were out on the map, we can now actually send people to them so they are functional. This came out a lot quicker than I was expecting it to. This was just a couple weeks after the early access release, so cool to see that coming out. And apparently you can make impactful decisions by doing this. Cool. So from what I read in the patch notes, you select some settlers to send out, you equip them with stuff, and then they go do a thing. Cool. I like it. And we can see what's coming up in May, and then everything else is just a mystery to us, at least. Hopefully not to them, but at least to us. Next month, we will be getting scenarios, so we get a new way to win outside of just playing in Endless. I'm a big fan of Endless, but it is what it is. We're going to start a new map here and just kind of get started right away. I don't want to spend too much time going over what was and what will be. Well, I actually do want to do that when we actually get into building the settlement out, but I don't want to sit on the start screen and not actually do anything. We've got a lot of cool new ideas that we can employ. Our bus is backwards. I hate it. I want our bus to be facing our water here. Let's see if I remember how to start a colony. I think I do. This should be maybe an expedition? No. Take a second to explore the map here. Here's our expedition. The nuclear power plant. Cool. Okay. It looks like we're using this lake as our primary water source. We've got another one over here, but I don't think we want to build this. We'll go right here. So one thing that I want to do off the bat is when we're doing our jetty. Does this work? It looks dumb. I'm not going to do that. Okay. When we're building our jetty and cistern to start things off, what do we do for food at the start? Sorry, I'm immediately distracted. Did we do a cultivated field right away, or did we do a fishing hut right away? We want both of these. When we're doing the cistern and jetty, ultimately what I would like to... Does this work? This is so dumb if this works. I have to do it just for posterity. Okay. So what we're gonna do, and the last one we had built a jetty and then a cistern. It was close. It was maybe this far away. But what I want to do is do a cistern, but I want it here. I want it right on top of that jetty, which means we have to get rid of this. Scrap. So we could just do a gather all here. Gather all, guys. And then let's do a builder or two, and then ultimately we'll do some fishers, speed things up. So making our water supply more efficient to get us through those droughts when they come. When we first started out last time, the droughts just... I don't want to say they were a non-issue, but they were kind of a non-issue for quite a while. And then when they came, we weren't really prepared to deal with them in the way that I would have liked. Let's see, we should do some houses too, yeah? Houses. Something like this. Okay. Cool. Give our people some shelter. All the basic needs. Sorry, I'm like somewhere in between wanting to explain everything and just get this colony off the ground so we can get to more interesting stuff. Yeah, so getting the water supply more efficient, like right away. So we'll do the cistern here, right next to the jetty. And then what we can do is from this road, we can do like 4 to 6 rainwater collectors just over here was my idea. So we'll just make a ton of them. And then the drought should be largely covered for a while. We can do multiple cisterns and ultimately a water tower here to filter out the rainwater collectors. And yeah, if we want to, we can just throw like 2 cisterns here and then have 10 or what was it, 20 people on 2 cisterns going from this jetty. And they don't have to go that far. So even though they were going like just this far, it was still like a run down here, run back, run down here, run back, which led to a lot of inefficiencies. Speaking of which, we're almost out of water. I really want this gone. Let's do... let's get rid of this. I just want you guys to gather scrap. Please just get rid of this. This ruin requires a scrapyard to be salvaged. Oh no. No. This is... Slow down. That's ruining everything. Okay. Is there any world where we build the scrapyard right now? 36 lumber, 22 scrap. I was not planning on building this already. I mean, we can. It just wasn't part of the plan. It's so ridiculous. Okay, well. It is what it is. We should also plan out... I think this spot up here looks like it might end up, after we clear out the scrap, end up being our Forester's Lodge and stuff. As opposed to maybe down here. So that means our scrapyard should not overlap that. And maybe go here. Sure. I'm good with that. Okay, undemolish. Wait. Gather all. Well. Kind of a bummer. So what do I do now? We need water. You've ruined everything. My whole life is ruined. Let's prioritize this guy. Build next. All right, well, we'll jump ahead with our plans. This is still fine. I'm still okay with this. We were going to end up building 2 of these guys anyway. Excuse me, please be more efficient. Why did I build that? Remove. There we go. Can we build a road? No. No, we cannot. Here? Okay, anyway. Please build. And we should get another foodman. Okay, there we go. Feeling a little better. We got the water coming in. We don't... Well, we have the fishers, I guess. Man, what are you even catching off the dock there? Some mud skippers or something. There's just... That's not good eats right there. Some bad fish off the dock. Anyway, I was feeling a little ambitious there. Needs trees ruins. Okay, get rid of that. Like another gather all order. Just up here. Oh, there we go. Keep them busy. We got the scrapyard going. I guess we can throw our last settler on there. Maybe reduce the number of builders. And then this guy, can I prioritize this? I guess we don't even need it gone right now, but... Yeah, it's fine. Other things I was looking to do, they want us to build more houses. I was looking for us to do is make our housing situation more efficient. And one of the things they did in the patch that I saw was they reduced the cost of these shelters. So there's less plastic, I think less cloth, and less wooden scrap as well. But the plastic and cloth are the big limiters early on in the game. And what this forces you to do is build too many cabins. And we saw this in our last playthrough. Too many cabins, too many adults, too many kids, way too many adults. And then you just end up in a period of famine and dehydration. Famine and drought, I suppose. That leads to disaster. Like here? Yeah. I want these scrap piles gone. Before much else. So that's another thing we should maybe try to do is get to the point where we can not go on full speed. Get to the point where we can build these shelters. And the plastic and cloth comes from the recycler and ultimately the refinery. So getting this recycler online next seems important. As well as, well, actually, can we do that? We can maybe do that. I'm thinking we need this Forester's Lodge. I don't know if it's before those, though. I don't think it is. We want to throw these Forester's Lodges up here. Requires a scrapyard. Requires a scrapyard. Okay, I'm just making sure these actually go away if we're planning things out. So we're going to change the field of work on our foresty buildings. So the Forester's Lodge, the Herbal Hut, the Hunter's Lodge, Hunting Lodge, and the Gatherer's Cabin can all be stacked on top of each other. And if work somewhat efficiently together, we'll have a nice wooded area that keeps getting replenished, and then the bushes come back and you get all these tasty mushrooms around and whatnot. I can also eat these radioactive dough. Ooh. Stag is worth more meat. Yo. That's a huge deer. Twice the size as that person. Anyway. What we'll do is change the field of work to be up here. So we get a nice efficient spot. At least as best as we can get it in between those mountains. While also leaving us enough room for expansion in our central area here. So we could perhaps do a market. So if we were to throw a market down like this, we could cover most of our housing needs as we expand to 100 or more colonists. So keeping this in mind is probably important. But this comes much later. Again, after the refinery. So we have to keep this in our mental RAM that this is going to be here at some point in the future. And we want to leave as many, I don't know what you want to call them, hexes, spots available for expansion around this spot. Or, you know, we could do this spot. It doesn't really matter. We want the market kind of just centrally located to our housing. And it functions similarly to the bus wreck here, what we'll upgrade into the mounted bus. So this is just going to house a bunch of junk, and people can come here to one centrally located spot to get this stuff. The difference being that the market can employ logisticians that will run around and collect the resources for you. So they don't have to be delivered here. They can be delivered to warehouses, and then the people from these houses just go directly to the marketplace to get all of their needs. It's just a little efficiency thing. Though the fact that this doesn't line up nice and evenly might drive me insane. Oh well. Anyway, with that said, we're looking to do the Forester's Lodge so we can get a fair amount of wood continuing to come in over time. I don't think we'll have to employ a lot of people here, just maybe one person or two. Probably just one to begin with. Uh-oh, it's the radiation. Like this? I think that's fine. And we are still out of houses. Oh, thank you. What timing? And we might have to remove this road to make room for another house here. I think we will. Maybe we could have seen that coming. Okay, so we'll wait for that stuff. These 2 houses should be enough to keep us going for now. So we can just do a check up here. So we have water coming in, we have food coming in, lumber now, soon to be yes, scrap yes, and we can work our way down the list. So once we get to about here, we have all the necessities covered. We need to get the PPE coming in, which means we have to get cloth coming in. We have to get tools being remade, which requires scrap or metal. So we could do it with scrap for now. Ideally not for very long because those tools don't last, and then that's just a drain on our scrap resources. But the PPE tends to be a bit of a sore spot. Beautiful. Bit of a sore spot because we have to get cloth, which has to be derived from scrap, which is then tailored into these scarves in the early game. And then the medication as well, we'll for sure need. Actually, speaking of medication, another nice centrally located building that we can think about is if I can find it, the medical facility. So it's actually a pretty big building. Maybe a small criticism would be, please reduce the size of the medical facility. It's huge. It looks cool, but it looks like an upgraded version of the medical facility. Maybe that's on the way. Let's slow things down here. It would be cool if this was a late game building that housed, I forget what it is. It's like 50 to 100 people or something that goes in this thing. Great for the late game, but too much. We could just do like a MASH style camp or something where you have a single doctor to rub the herbs on the wounds. I don't know. But anyway, so the market and the medical facility being centrally located, maybe here and here, and that's just going to stop people from having to run from, like in our last playthrough, if you didn't happen to see it, we had we covered like most of an area like this, but we had our like houses maybe roughly, let's say here, and then our medical facility was maybe over here-ish, maybe a little closer, something like this, but then they had to run all the way over here, hang out, and then run all the way back. So if we kept it centrally located, like with the market, they could just go to the medical facility, come back, and work on some efficiencies there, which I am all about. This next thing that we'll be needing is the recycler. Our cisterns still fit there. No, it's 4 tiles. Recycler leaves. Oh, at least 5. No, it does not fit. Okay. No, my plans. Does it go here? You can see my hesitation to like start building this way. I think this is fine. We can do this. This out because we always were gonna do that. Okay, foresters is done. And then we also need the herbal hut that I was talking about. So we'll be almost immediately changing the field of work to what we will be using in the future. I think I'm good with... be this for now. And then maybe... Oops, no! Wrong button. Okay, we got it. We cannot change the field of work until it's done. That's fine. Yeah, this is kind of not great for the foresters themselves, as they have to go really far out here. It may have to be changed to be closer, actually, until we get more people working the site. We don't have a big drain on our wood resources right now until we get the charcoal going. So maybe this is okay. Refiner into cloth. Yes. Okay. And another thing we can do here is look to our shelter. So this requires 10 cloth, 6 plastic. May actually be better for us to build the shelter sooner rather than later. So if we have 8 of these houses, that's a fair amount of kids coming out. And we have to get to the point where we can actually... What is this? Storage capacity in this building is running low. It is? What's the storage capacity? Oh, here. 95%? Did they nerf the cisterns? I swear they held more than that before. Alright, well, we'll do 2 of them. That's fine. We're going to do that anyway. I think I was talking about the shelters. So if we build too many of these houses, I think I said this earlier, we end up with too many kids, too many adults we can't sustain with the amount of food that we have coming in, and we'll eventually reach a point where it's just like it's like it's like people running to your local grocer for toilet paper or whatever it is right now. They just rush to the food. They don't do their other jobs, so we just fall so far behind on food and water we can't possibly sustain. Well, I think that's what we'll do. We'll get 10 cloth and 6 plastic, and then build our first shelter. Now I'm wondering if we put this here. I know I had marketed this out. I had marked this out for the market. But do it here-ish too. We want this close to our production buildings so our people can go to work and come back. Maybe it fits here, or maybe we do this anyway and just say it is what it is. I think I like this a lot. Yeah, we'll do that. Change this over to plastic, please. And then we can actually look. Again, I don't think this matters. If it does, we'll just move the market here. Yeah, that's fine. And then maybe if we're lucky, our medical facility... Hey, look at that. Our medical facility fits in here. It does leave like one spot. It's not quite perfect. It's fine. We can also throw maybe something like a pub in here for our people much later on, when we're feeling good about that stuff. But it said this was our rainwater collectors down here. Also looking for a way to start our orchards and cultivated fields. Wondering if we do that yet. What's wrong with these guys? Nothing to do? Well, do I have the field for you? Go break down all of these trains. We have like one scrap collector, this poor soul. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, you are also going up here for our herbs. And there we go. Our water is on the up and up. And this is exactly what I was talking about with this cistern, is making it so these people just do not have to go very far at all. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Get tons of water in a day. And you can kind of tell like a little efficiency like this, but if our cistern was, say, here, just having to go that much further to dump things off can take quite a lot of extra time in the day. Or at least that's how I'm choosing to see it. Is it done? Do you have the plastic necessary? We'll go back to cloth then. So if you are back on cloth, feeling actually really good about prioritizing this early shelter. You're back on cloth. That should mean that we need our tailor's hut to get our PPE going again. Or at least started to begin with. Maybe here? Maybe we go down here. Is cloth stored at the bus? Yes. Okay, I think that's fine. I've got no tailors. I get it. I get it. All right, everything's good. Get this finished up here. Somebody just has to come hit it with a hammer. Nice. I think the colony's on the up and up. I love the fact that we have this scrapyard going and we can actually break down these train wrecks and stuff. So this will all be cleared out, and we have quite a lot of scrap yet to collect. The single forester, it'll work over time. Eventually they'll, yeah, like this guy, they'll plant these little trees. This stuff will all be gone. They'll be able to fill in those spaces. And I'm liking where we're at with that too. So ultimately, again, hospital, market, and then just build out from there. Might do another shelter on this side as we build more industries type buildings, probably down here-ish. Rainwater collectors here. I've got to kind of figure out where we're going to put our farms. Maybe we put our farms here. Somewhere in here. Maybe take up this like as the, if you think about the T-piece from Tetris. Do T-spin right here. Could do all our fields that way. We still have room for our market and stuff, and then housing over here. I like that quite a lot. That should be the plan going forward into the next episode. Thank you all for coming back and hopefully enjoying a restart. I wasn't planning on a restart, but here we are. There's no going back. The old save files, I think, are incompatible with the new stuff. And hey, you know, sooner rather than later, we'll be able to actually build this expedition thing wherever it was. I saw it. There it is. Expedition station. Looks like it's like a mid-game thing with all that metal and plastic. So we'll get that expedition station built in the next few episodes so we can actually go out and explore some of the new content. Hope to see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.